Hi guys, it's me Karen from Karen's Intuitive Jewelry. Today I am going to finish up this little stone that I goofed up on the bezel in the last video. This is that agatized coral from Honeymoon Island here in Pinellas County, Florida. And so I cut out this really beautiful piece of gallery wire that should fit. Actually marked it a little bit, cut it a little bit big so I can file the ends down because everything has to be absolutely flush. And today I'm using 22 gauge sterling silver, and this is fine silver, 0.999 fine silver bezel wire, 22 gauge sterling silver, 925 sterling silver. And then while I'm at it, because I never like to just do one, I'm gonna do this beautiful little Kunzite. It's so beautiful. And it's certainly deserving of sterling silver. This is 24 gauge, which is my preference in sheet metal because it's a little bit thinner, but I don't have any more. This is the last 24 gauge, and it's pretty pricey, sterling silver right now, so I'm gonna use up what I have left. I have this other pretty big sheet of 22 gauge. I have 26 gauge, which I don't know if that would probably be okay for just a back plate, or maybe this would be good actually if I was going to cut out the back and make an open bezel, which I'm definitely going to attempt. It'll be my first, and I want to do that on this beautiful purple moss agate so that you can really enjoy the benefits of this beautiful stone. So I may try that on this, because with an open back, it'll mostly just be attached to the bezel with just a little bit in the back. So maybe I hadn't thought about that. But anyway, getting off on a tangent. That's all the sheet metal sterling silver I have, except for this piece, which is already embossed. Isn't it pretty? But I'm apprehensive to use it. And I don't know why, but it's 21 gauge, which is really thicker than this. So I think it's really more designed for a bracelet, or I had thought about using it for ring bands, but I don't know if that would be strong enough. So I might have to put that question out to some of my fellow group members. I had actually met with a retired jeweler in my local town who I purchased all this stuff from for a ridiculous price, because he was retired and used to be an instructor, and I guess he took a fancy to me and likes to help people. So for this nice sheet, I only paid $13. And I believe right now, this piece would probably cost, let me see how long this is. This piece would be, I think I saw it going for, this would be well over $50 worth of sterling silver for 5 inches. So silver's up there right now because it's not per troy ounce or whatever. If you're just buying some for an investment or coins, because of course you pay extra for them processing it in a sheet and cutting it for size and all that stuff. So yeah, those are things I never even considered when I started this, was why, if it says silver's only $32 an ounce, why do I have to pay $32 for an inch? I don't get it, but that's kind of why that happens. Anyway, I've already cut the bezel wire, and I'm going to go ahead and solder these closed and move on with the process. Both ends of this bezel have to be exactly flush so that there's no light that shines through. So they say if you can see daylight through that seam, it's not good enough. And that can be hard, for me at least. That looks good to me. And I'm trying a new butane. This is the Big Shot. It came highly recommended. It's about, I think it's right under 60 or right around $60. So that's not too bad. The other two I have is this Blusky, which works okay. It looks very similar as far as the width, but you can see the nozzle or whatever has this, this is different around it. And then the other one that I liked real well is this Ronx, and it has a much bigger flame nozzle than this one, but it started acting weird lately. Like after I'd fill the container and turn the knob and hit the ignition, it wouldn't light, though there was massive amount of gas coming out, so that was kind of scary. But then it seemed like after you did that a couple times, then it would ignite. And then one time when I put it towards the piece I was soldering, this almost little explosion happened, which was, again, another scary thing. It wasn't very big, maybe this big, but those things are, you know, scary. And so I did hear that they offered a really good warranty, so I contacted them directly, and they're sending me a replacement. So wow, that's great, because I bought this. Next month will be a year, so that's pretty cool. And then I decided, well, maybe I'll just go ahead and return this, but they don't accept returns on anything, any kind of containers that contain liquid gases and stuff, so I can't return it. So now I have 4 torches. The 4th one I have is just an itty bitty little one that I really never use because it's too small. The only thing it's good for is really like jump rings or whatever, so I don't really use that, but we'll give this a try. And now I'll be using 1 each of these 1mm square, the hardest, meaning the highest melting point. This is hard solder. These other ones, that's a medium, and again, they're based off of their melting points. This is the easy, and I think you can go one down from this, meaning it'll melt it a little, but it's ever so slightly, and it's called extra easy or something, but I don't want that. And then I think you can go 1 higher, but I stick kind of with what I initially learned, which was using the hard solder to solder the bezels closed, and medium to solder the bezel to the back plate, and then you can go down to an easy before applying the jump ring or any embellishments that you want on there. Okay, and then I'm using this AquiFlux, even though lately I've been hearing some information about paste flux. But my problem with fluxes is that once you get the flux on, you kind of can't see where your seam is. So how do you know where to place the solder? I mean, on the bezels, it's not that big a deal because technically I should have put the solder down first and then some flux. It's really hard to see. Like you can see the seam better from the outside, but it's sometimes hard to see from the inside. So I have to put my face real close down there and make sure I've got it positioned right. That one went. And let me get down there and check it. So you probably can't see it, but it did indeed is a good seam. Okay, now I'm going to quench it and drop it in the pickle. Now we got the bezels soldered. Right. Now we need to make sure that these have a nice flush connection before we attempt to solder, and you can see that they don't, right? Because you can see daylight. So same thing applies. These have to absolutely be 100% like that. And no, you can't hold it with your hand. Sometimes you can use the third arms and stuff like that, but it's kind of tricky. So standard-wise, what helps is to sand the bottom of the bezel. And they say you do a figure of 8 will get you the most consistent sanding. And it definitely helps if there's any unevenness, but we'll see. And most of the time, more is required. But maybe I got lucky again. Let's see, I think I turned this a little bit. Sorry for all the bumping. Well, that looks pretty good. Oh, won't you look at that? It's pretty good. The only place it isn't 100% is right at the seam. So let's see if I can get that a little bit better. And wow, that looks good. That looks pretty good. Look on that a little bit more. And then let's check this one. So again, you can see right around here on the edge, this back part looks pretty good. That's if you can remember which is which direction. And I also have to remember to put my stamp and the 925 on it. So that's what I'm doing now. Just wanted to show you what the next step was. And then once I get it a good connection, we'll go ahead and solder these pieces. And I decided to use my third arms. I have 2 of them. These are a little different than the ones the other ones you can kind of get for beading and stuff. These are weighted and they're not serrated. The little alligator clamps, they're not like that, so that they don't mar this. So I have them set up. This is a titanium trivet, which allows you to heat from underneath somewhat. And then this charcoal block really holds and radiates back heat, because you don't want to do direct flame and you don't want to get so much heat that you melt the bezel. So here we go. I'm going to put some flux on and then kind of heat that up a little so the bubbling stops. And then I'll place the solder pieces. I cut the little 1mm pieces in half so I can spread less solder more frequently. And then you try and keep the heat circulating from on top and bottom, and try to heat your whole piece up and keep it evenly heated till the solder melts. And as in any other type of soldering, of course, the solder will flow where the heat goes. So if you're not heating in one particular area, the solder may not flow that way. So it's really important for evenness. So I'm gonna get this started, but may not do the whole soldering part because it's so hot and hard. But just so you can see how the flux bubbles, right? Then you shut it off and you put your solder in place. Okay guys, I'm gonna try and keep this on and show you. And be looking for like a little silver flash, and that's when the solder melts. But I'll try. I don't know if I'll be able to do both. You can hear that fluttering. That I don't like, and that's the newest one. So I don't know why it's doing that, and I may switch. Let me try it one more time. You'll see it's cutting out. Okay, that's not good. Let me try this other torch. By the sound of this, it needs more fuel. So that's not good either. Let's try this one. That one's completely empty. Okay, sorry guys. Sorry about that, guys. I had to refill my smallest one, the Blusky, and it did the job. So I'm gonna attempt to show you the full feature here when I do this other one. I think it did a good job. You can kind of see the solder flowed all the way. And you heard that quenching, right? And once it's quenched, of course, you can pick it up and have a good look. But don't touch any of that. It looks good to me. So after I do this other one, I will put these back in the pickle. So let's get this other one set up. And we've got the same situation set up. Using my third arms there. Gonna apply some flux. We'll heat this up till it bubbles, then put the solder on, and I'll return with the torch. Now the little solder pieces, which is difficult for me to do on camera because the camera's right in front of my face. And this is an itty bitty little piece. And I'm trying to pick up itty bitty little pieces of solder to place. So let me do that and come back. And here we go. Hope we got success. I hope. This is always the challenging part for me. Of course, you don't ever want to touch those things in any way. Let's have a look. I think it was successful. It appears so, but there's been lots of times where I thought it was, and until after I pickled it and could really see. But let's hope that it did. So let me go pickle this. I just want to show you how nasty they look before they go in the pickle, and then what they look like when they come out. And this is a pickle pot, the Crockpot, with Sparex, it's called. And then I use just this little container that I drilled holes in, so I don't have to go digging around in there for everything. So I'll just pop these in there and then drop this in here. You can see it fills up. Put the lid on and give it about 5 minutes or so. Here's after being in the pickle. See, it makes a big difference. And yes, there's a great seam. I don't see any daylight, any gaps. So I'm very happy with that. And here I'm just doing some filing of the edges so they're nice and smooth before I add a bail. And that's to this one. And then this little one, I just, when I cut the excess sheet off, I just left a little point up here and just rolled the metal down. and doesn't even need to be soldered. The chain just fits right through there. So then I had to use these little needle, diamond tip needle files, just to make sure that this was all nice and smooth. So that's what that's looking like. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and solder on the jump ring on this one. Okay, and I just made my own, this will be part of the bail, with just some 16 gauge sterling silver wire. And so I just used my step bail making plier to make kind of a half loop. And then I'll solder that on here. And then also going to make just a little jump ring that will go on to this as well. Okay, and what I'm working on now is winding my way down through all the different abrasive surfaces of these radial wheels, going in opposite directions with each one. So the last one was this one, and I did it going vertically. So now on this one, the next thinner one, I'm going to go the opposite and working my way through there. Let's test the stones and make sure they fit. I have been checking them along the way, but you never know when something could knock something out of whack. So yay, that one fits. And I gotta remember it's the white side to the right is how I set it. Let's check this little baby. I did end up changing stones because for some reason the original Kunzite was just a little bit too tight for my liking. I almost couldn't get it out even with the thread in there. So I found another Kunzite that's almost identical in size. It's just probably a slight, I don't know, fraction of a millimeter difference. So this is the one I chose. So I didn't have the stress involved. So yay, that one fits too. So now we're going to go ahead, drop that baby in there, get our little tools. Always start on the corner or the peak. And go to the opposing side, back down here for then we can start on the sides. And we get our burnishing tool and try to work those little peaks down even further. Okay, guys. So after finishing off with a good polish with this metal polish, this is how they came out. And this is earmarked for my sister-in-law who lives in the town where this particular cabochon originated from in the form of like a rock. An agatized coral from Honeymoon Island over the bridge in Dunedin, Florida. And I think she will especially love it because it's from Honeymoon Island and because it's pretty simple. She's not a fancy gal. So I'm excited to give it to her. I think it turned out great. I'm happy with it after everything's said and done. And here's the cute little Kunzite. I think it turned out lovely. I would probably, if I kept it, I would definitely put it on a silver chain, sterling silver, but right now it's on a stainless steel chain. Those are my two preferences. As you guys know, I go with stainless, whether it's gold color, silver color, gunmetal, or the black cords when I sell them. And oftentimes the black cords really look nice with them, as it does with this. So yay, I finally finished. And now I'm going to put this hard soldering away for a little bit because I've got to start preparing for a new inventory delivery at the one shop, the Emporium in Largo. And so I want to get on with making some Halloween stuff. Oh yeah, that's right. I got those labradorite skulls that I was considering putting one of them at least in sterling silver bezels. So I may break that back out at the end. I want to get some pumpkins made. I want to do some more of the witches' brooms and wire wrapping, as well as I want to do some soft soldering with the kyanite. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed all my struggles. And I hope I can help others learn, maybe if nothing else, what not to do. I did meet with, I went to the jeweler's, my friend's shop today. His wife was having a open house for a side hustle she's doing. So I went to support them and got a little bit more education from him. He's trying to convince me to get a legitimate kind of torch that uses, not just propane or butane. It uses propane and oxygen, I think. And I'm scared. But he was talking about how much more control I'll have. And so I always just pick his brain like crazy. I'm sure his wife gets aggravated with me, but today she was busy. Anyway, okay guys, thanks again. I'll talk to you guys soon with another video. Bye.